Hi friends, this is Adi again. The earlier video which I uploaded today related to classical reporting in ABAP. So I hope you would have already gone through that, and then now you are aware of the concepts. I mean simple concepts in reporting, what is an event, how to write a subroutine, and then how to create a simple report via SE80 or SE38, how to push the subroutines into this particular include, how to push the declarations into top include, how to design a simple selection screen, how to use a radio button, how to use a checkbox. So these are some of the concepts you should be aware of by now if you have gone through my earlier videos. If not, maybe you can try to find out some time and then you can go through it. But the thing is, you should be aware of this concept. I mean, you just try to learn it so that when you come to the real SAP Word and you try to do some programming, so if you create a report like this, people would understand that you are an experienced resource. So there are many benefits of this. First of all, the indenting is very good, alignment and everything is good, obviously via using Pretty Printer. And then uh, it's also related to the performance. I mean, slowly we will make this report more complex, and then we will also look into some of the performance aspects, because in some of the reports, or in many of the reports, I would say you need to go and fetch the data from 6 to 7 or maybe 6 to 10 tables, and then you need to join it, and after joining it you need to display the data as an output. It could be a classical report output, it could be an interactive report output, which I'm going to maybe explain today. It could be an LV output also, which we will be covering tomorrow. So the agenda for next video would be ALV report, and then some of the debugging concepts, because now it's important to learn the debugging so that you can see the flow of your report, that how it's actually working at runtime. So till now we are just writing the code and we are just trying to see the output, but then tomorrow we'll try to debug the report and we'll see the flow, how it actually goes, and then how the data basically flows from one subroutine to other, how it goes to the output. So that is something we'll try to do tomorrow. Tomorrow again it's Sunday, so I'll try to upload 2 videos at least, so that we are done with our reporting concepts. So in this video we are going to discuss about the interactive reporting. As I explained earlier, in the interactive reporting, it's basically you'll double click on some place and then it will open a new list in front of you. So okay, so this would complete. So events, basically events completed, classical report. Okay, report is pending. Yeah, join is pending. So in tomorrow's class we will use the join statements. Let's see how much we can cover tomorrow, but then okay, creation of a G function module is also pending. We will do it eventually. Update table pending. ALV will try to finish tomorrow. Interactive we are doing today. So messaging. So whatever is already done, we will just remove it from here. This is also just a concept. This is a concept. Okay. So I think it's okay for now. We'll go to SAP screen. So in this particular report, if you remember, we are simply displaying some of the properties of this material. So basically we are fetching the data from MARA table. So we are fetching just the material number, creation date, and created by. So material number, date, and then created by. So obviously the alignment, again we need to do a little bit R&D. We need to keep some kind of spacing here, like material number is generally of 18 characters. So after 18 the date should come. So basically if you see from here till somewhere here, this 18 character will be there. this should move here, this should move here, something like that. You need to do some R&D while you are going through it. So I hope you are already having some kind of SAP access with you. It could be a basic mini SAP access by using that consulate website details, or you are already having your own SAP installed in your personal laptops or desktops. So whatever concepts I'm explaining, you try to just do some R&D, some kind of play around, and then you can explore more things about, I mean, more concepts. Now in the display data, if you see, what I'm doing here is I'm putting a loop on internal table. Why we put a loop on internal table? Because here I'm having 3 records at runtime. So I'll also show you at runtime what happens, but then we'll do it maybe tomorrow, I'm hoping, when I explain you debugging. So for now, what we are going to do is we will be using a statement called hide. What we are going to hide? We are going to hide this particular field, WA. Do a pretty printer. So what this hide statement will do? This hide statement will make this particular field in output to be double clicked, which means this hide statement will make this field as interactive. Okay, in between I will discuss one more concept here. For example, here every time I need to give a material number, what I can do, I can do a save here, then I can provide a variant name, let's say Adi, save it. So every time I don't need to put the values here. What I can do next time, you can see this new option came here, get variant, hit OK, select this, so it will give the details. So the data will be stored here. Now if I double click on this, nothing happens, but then let's see how to make it happen. So here we are fetching the data, else we are giving the message. We will give that. So this is one of the events at line selection. This event would actually go and capture the value of that particular material number on which we are doing a hide, which means on the material we are trying to do a double click. So at line selection, what we are going to do, perform okay, rather than doing like, okay, perform get next list, let's say something like this. So while we are doing a double click on the material, we are going to do a next list generation. So double click here, so now what I'm assuming is that if I do a double click on the material, I'll be having the material number stored in WA Mara-MATNR. So what I want to do, based on this, I want to fetch the material description from MAKT table. So for that, what I need to do here, so I'm going to declare another internal table. So I will be declaring a types begin of ty underscore MAKT. So matnet. So we'll just have a look at MAKT table as well. So we have material, we have language, we have MAKTX. Now I'll declare another internal table and work area. IC underscore MAKT. I hope this one is clear and there is no confusion on this. So I'm referring this internal table to this structure, and I'm also telling that it's going to contain multiple entries. Then work area. So at line selection, basically what we are going to do, this at line selection is going to come into picture once we have our data displayed. Something like this. So what we are going to do, we are going to select the description of this material. MTNR where material equal to and language, because the description might vary from language to language. We will just hard code it for English. C2 WA underscore MAKT. So why we are doing this? Because we know that MATNR is the key field in MAKT table, and there would be only one description against the particular material and the particular language, because this is a key field here. So it's going to be a unique combination, and both the things I am passing here. If this operation is successful, so here earlier I wrote if size of RC equal to 0. Similarly, I can write if size of RC is initial. Right. So this is something I'm trying to write in the output. is this error? I don't understand. For the statement and form. Yeah, okay, now I got the problem. So what is happening here is I am trying to select the material and description from MAKD table into this work area where material equal to this and language equal to this. And so now I know that there going to be only one unique record against my select query. But then when I'm writing this to system, I mean when I'm asking the system to do it, system is trying to understand it in a different way. What system says that there could be multiple records, then what you should do? So there is a different select statement, that is select single, which means I am sure that I am damn sure that there is going to be only one record against this combination and you fetch only that records, which means that is the reason I am using work area here. Had there been multiple records, I would have used an internal table. So now I know there is only one record, so now this report is active. Get your variant, let's see if it really works or not. So you can see that I got the material description. Similarly, what I can do, I can write one more perform, and based on that material description or material I can fetch something else and I can show it in the next list. Something like this. Double click here, get this. So yeah, so what I'm trying to do, you double click here and then you get something on the next screen. So like this you can go up to 20 secondary lists, but then if you try to do after 20, then you'll get a short number. So basically in SAP only up to 20 secondary lists are allowed. So one primary and then up to 20 secondary. After that SAP doesn't allow. The other thing which I wanted to discuss is this concept of classical and interactive report is a bit obsolete now. These are kind of again very classical concept. It was introduced long back in the earlier versions of SAP, and then people were using it. But then if you see the kind of output, first of all, it doesn't look good. It looks very normal output. You need to highlight few things. You need to you need to set the alignments and lot many things. If you want to download this report, this will look very I would say a useless kind of report. Let's try to do this. Yeah, so it looks pretty nonsense. Something going here, something going there, obviously. Lot of adjustments we need to do. And that's the reason when I showed you yesterday the ALV concept, I also explained that it's very similar to our Excel sheet. So that, okay, will be coming, next would be ALV. So this is how we create an interactive report. So the event which makes it interactive is at line selection. So this might be an interview question for many of you, that what is the difference between the events in classical report and interactive report? So everything remains same, only at line selection. That is the event which makes it interactive. So this is something I wanted to cover here. Then what else we want to cover is, okay, I'll just grab some water and then come back 1 minute. So now we'll try to cover one more concept here. In the earlier video we were talking about add selection screen output event. So I think till now we didn't discuss it. So add selection screen output, as I explained, basically I was talking about PBO, that is process before output, which means as soon as a selection screen or any screen comes in front of us, it does a lot of processing in the background. So this add selection screen output event will take care of that processing. Okay, to use this event I'm going to my selection screen, and what I'm doing here is I'm enabling this checkbox p underscore check. And I'm also enabling one more parameter, but then if you see p underscore matnr, what I'm doing here is I'm not declaring it as an internal data element. I'm making it as char 18, which means, yeah, okay, so what are the data types that is also pending? Data types, and tomorrow this is something I'll do in first instance. So I enabled this, I'm attaching a user command to this checkbox, which means the moment I select this checkbox, system comes to know that basically user is trying to give me some kind of command. So I'm mentioning like test, user command test. So I'm running it now. This checkbox is there, but then this error message is already there, so we have to enter some value. Yeah, now you check this, you uncheck this, nothing happens. Okay, nothing happens. But what I'm trying to do, if p underscore, what is the technical name, check, yeah, checkbox p underscore check. So what we are checking here is if that checkbox is enabled, p underscore check equal to x, loop at screen. So basically we are trying to play with the screen properties. If screen hyphen name equal to p underscore matner, that is my parameter, screen hyphen input 0, and if modify screen end loop. So what exactly I'm trying to do here is, and then one more end if for this one. So one each if should be ended by end if, loop should be ended by end loop. So what I'm trying to do here is, if that checkbox is checked, then I should not be able to enter any value in p underscore matnr, that is the parameter. Let's see if this value works, otherwise I need to explore it again. So what I did, as soon as I selected this one, this got disabled, this got enabled, disabled, enabled. So this is not a magic, this is a very simple trick. As soon as I execute my screen, selection screen, as soon as I execute my report, the selection screen appears. It loads the complete coding in the background under add selection screen output event, which is written under that event. So what I have written there is, if this checkbox is X, then this should be disabled. If this checkbox is not X, then it should be enabled. So by default, the checkbox is not selected, due to which system goes and keeps it, leaves it as enabled one. But then if I select this, it makes it as disabled. I can do it other way around. You can leave it like this. Let's see now what happens. So you can see it's disabled, unchecked, and this is disabled. So what you need to know here is, every time you give some kind of command on this screen, then this screen will be reloaded. So that is something I wanted to explain you. So this is something add selection screen output. The other event other important one I wanted to tell you is, so what we will do, this is okay. Add selection screen output. Now, okay, I'll go to the selection screen. You can see this is referring to the standard one. This is referring to a custom carry team. So the difference is, if I am referring this to the standard one, so it automatically gives me a select search help. So I can do an F4 here, and then I can see the possible entries, list of possible entries. But then this doesn't do that, because this is not referring to the standard MATNR, and that is the reason it's not able to inherit the properties of that standard MATNR, while this one is doing that. So there is an event. So you'll come across such situations wherein you have a field in which you want to display some kind of custom search help at runtime. So before start of selection, let's write add selection screen on help request for p underscore. Okay. Now form, instead of writing everything here, I am writing a subroutine. So perform get help. Even this also could have been placed under a subroutine. So this code comes here. So this looks much better now. We don't have any code as such. Here we have kind of skeleton of the program. We have only the body, but then rest everything goes in some include. One more thing I should tell you is operations on subroutine. Okay, we'll discuss that also. There are too many concepts in a way. So yeah, so this came here, get help. Okay, so what I want to do is, as soon as I go to that parameter, I should be able to see some of the possible entries. So to do that, we already have a declaration here, this one, and we already have an internal table declared like this. So this is a global declaration. Anything which comes in my top include can be accessed anywhere across the program. Now we'll talk about a local internal table. So local internal table is basically that will be somewhere in the subroutine, which means it can be accessed only in this subroutine. It can't be accessed across the program because I'm doing it here as a local one. So data lt underscore. So I'm declaring another internal table lt underscore mat type table of ty underscore. Now this ty underscore mat can be accessed here because this is declared in my global declaration, that is top include w underscore mat. So don't confuse with this lt. I just made it as because it's local one wa. So whatever you declare in this one, it will be local to this. I can make it as it also. Doesn't make a difference. Nomenclature depends on you, but that the name should not be duplicate. Otherwise, it will be a problem in the program. You need to keep unique names every time. So what I'm trying to do here is select matnr matx from mat. Now, just now I showed you the concept of select single, where I was damn sure that I'm going to get only one record. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to select some 100 or 200 random values, and then I will show it in my F4 help. So there is a syntax called up to 100 rows. I can make it 1000 rows, 200 rows, 10 rows, whatever. So in real time there could be like lakhs of record in the material master, and accordingly in MAKT table as well. But I don't want to select all because it will take a lot of time. So just for the testing purpose, we are selecting, let's say, 100 rows from MAKT into. So now I'm selecting multiple records. So from MAKT is already written. Okay, that is why it's showing as well. So into table. So now if you see here, I did into WAMAKT, no table, because only one record we are dealing with. Here we are dealing with multiple records. So select this from MAKT up to 100. So basically 100 records I'm going to get into table lt underscore MAKT, where which means I make sure that I get only English language descriptions. So I think till now I'm clear. Again, it's very common. We should keep on checking if the previous operation was successful. So if I initial, so we'll call a function module available which will help us to generate a search help. So there is a function module f4 if int. Let's see if I get the suggestion. This one, f4 if int table value request. So the data, that is value table, is coming into lt underscore MAKT. The field is field is wa underscore, sorry, field is p underscore matnr. These exceptions we will open so that we come to know that what kind of error. As I explained earlier, we can handle some exceptions in function module. which will help us to know the exact cause of problem. Activate. Okay. So I mentioned here is if size of ours is initial, then I need to do an identifier. So SAP is having a very good syntax checker. I mean 60 to 70% of the time you'll get the exact thing. Activate this. Let's execute this report. So why this is not working? Because I used a wrong event here. This one is help request. Actually, it should be value request. So value request is something F4. Help request is something F1. Now if I execute this, you can see this option is coming. If I do an F4 here, that means I click here. So basically, it will show me the first 100 records from MAKT. Okay. So we got a short dump as I explained earlier. So what is the short dump? Just get some bottles to okay. So let's see what is the problem there. So field basically that is material. Let's try to give it as a material. This is causing a problem. Make it X. Yeah. So I came here to F4. It says no value found. Why no value found? Yeah, sorry. So what we are trying to do here is uh, now there is another variable called sy-repid, sy-repid, that is report id, which means at runtime it will take this program name. So system would understand that in this program itself we are going to fetch the values of MATNR and we are going to display it statistically. So basically it's going to be a statistic display. And then other thing which we can do here is we can remove all the useless commented fields or the useless commented input and output variables so that our code looks neat and clean. Now you see system automatically did an alignment and everything looks good now. Execute. So basically I am getting the 100 records which I fetched from MAKT and I can choose any of these 100 records. Double click. Why it's not coming? It looks like it's some other variable. Okay. So I'll check it out offline. Maybe I'll explain it tomorrow what I was missing. So this is the concept of the dynamic value request. So this is the material, this is the material description. So actually the value should be transferred here. It's not getting transferred. So that I'll see and then I'll explain tomorrow. So today we finished our interactive reporting. We finished our some of the events, line selection. Okay. These things we have already finished. At user command at pf status I will explain in the ALB report. Yeah. So this is the agenda for our next video. So I think we are good for today. Now we know that what is an interactive report. Now we also know that what is an event, basically at selection screen output. We also know that how to call a dynamic value request at runtime. So, and we obviously we know that how to create a report, how to create a subroutine, how to call a function module. So now we know a couple of things now in reporting, and we'll continue from here tomorrow again. We'll try to create an ALV out of the same data which we are trying to fetch. We'll also try to look into the data types, and we'll also try to put a join statement tomorrow. So basically SAP provides two kind of options. One, we can directly use the SQL joins, that is like inner join or left outer join. At the same time SAP has its own concept that is called for all entries. So we will be looking into that concept as well tomorrow. So I think we are good for today, and then see you again tomorrow. Goodbye for now.